This is a summary of Dr. Erich Jarvis, The Neuroscience of Speech, Language, and Music, where we break down the key insights, ideas, and takeaways from this content, giving you the gist so you can decide if you want the rest. Dr. Andrew Huberman interviews Dr. Erich Jarvis, a professor at Rockefeller University, whose work focuses on the neurobiology of vocal learning, speech disorders, and the link between language, music, and movement. This discussion explores how the brain controls speech and language, the connection between vocal learning and motor movement, why only a few species, including humans and some birds, can learn to imitate sounds, how dance and speech share neural circuits, what genetics reveal about the evolution of language, the future of brain-machine interfaces for restoring speech. Dr. Jarvis provides a deep, neuroscience-backed look at how speech, language, and music are processed in the brain and how they evolved. How the brain controls speech and language. Speech versus language, are they the same? Speech is the motor production of sound, involving precise control of the vocal cords, tongue, and mouth. Language is a broader system that includes grammar, meaning, and comprehension. It can be spoken, written, or gestured. Many animals have communication systems, but very few can learn new vocalizations like humans. Dr. Jarvis argues that speech and language are not controlled by separate modules in the brain. Instead, they are integrated into the same neural circuits that govern movement and motor learning. Why only some species can imitate speech? Vocal learning. A rare ability in the animal kingdom. Most animals can make innate sounds, e.g. dog barking, baby crying. Only a few species can learn and imitate new sounds. These include humans, parrots, songbirds, hummingbirds, dolphins, and whales. Great apes, including chimpanzees, cannot imitate sounds, which is why they do not develop speech despite high intelligence. Brain differences in vocal learners versus non-learners. Vocal learners have special brain circuits that connect the forebrain to vocal muscles. Non-learners, like dogs and monkeys, lack these direct connections. This explains why parrots can mimic human speech better than chimpanzees. The connection between speech and movement. Why do people gesture when they talk? Speech and hand movement are controlled by neighboring brain regions. This is why people gesture even when speaking on the phone. Some cultures use more gestures than others, but even when gestures are removed, the brain still tries to produce them unconsciously. How dance and speech are related. Dr. Jarvis discovered that only vocal learning species, humans, parrots, dolphins, can dance to a beat. This is because the same brain circuits that control speech also allow for rhythmic movement. Birds like the cockatoo snowball can synchronize movements to music, just like humans. This suggests that spoken language evolved from brain circuits originally used for movement and rhythm. The evolution of language. How did it develop? How long ago did speech evolve? Speech likely developed 500,000 to 1 million years ago. Neanderthals and Denisovans had the same speech-related genes as modern humans, suggesting they could speak. Non-human primates lack these genes, which may explain their inability to produce learned speech. What genetics reveal about speech evolution? Dr. Jarvis's research found that genes involved in motor learning are also involved in speech production. The same genes that allow humans to speak are found in parrots and songbirds, but are missing in other species. Mutations in FOXP2, a key speech gene, cause speech deficits in both humans and birds. This suggests that speech and vocal learning evolved multiple times in different species using similar genetic changes. How music and emotion influence language. Singing versus speaking, different but connected brain circuits. The left hemisphere is dominant for speech, while the right hemisphere is more involved in music and singing. Singing activates emotion-related areas, explaining why people with speech disorders, like stuttering, can often sing fluently. Music evolved before structured language, and many ancient cultures use song for storytelling and communication. Why some songs feel more emotional than others. Certain musical notes and rhythms trigger brain circuits involved in movement and emotion. The way a singer modulates pitch and rhythm can make a song feel joyful or melancholic. Even without lyrics, music conveys meaning through shared neural circuits with speech and emotion. The future of brain-machine interfaces for speech. Restoring speech in paralyzed individuals. Dr. Jarvis discusses the work of Dr. Edward Chang, who has developed a brain-machine interface that translates thoughts into text for people who are paralyzed. Electrodes are placed on the speech motor cortex. The brain's electrical signals are decoded into text on a screen. Future advancements could allow for synthetic speech or facial expression translation. Can brain implants be used to enhance speech? Brain-machine interfaces could one day enhance speech, improve memory, or allow direct thought-to-text communication. Ethical concerns remain about how this technology could be used in society. Jarvis believes that understanding the neuroscience of speech and language will help create new technologies to restore and enhance communication. Final thoughts. Dr. Erich Jarvis's research reveals that speech, language, and music are deeply connected in the brain. Speech evolved from brain circuits originally used for movement and rhythm. Only a few species have the ability to imitate sounds, and they also have the ability to dance. Music, speech, and emotion share neural circuits, which is why certain songs feel more meaningful. Genetics show that vocal learning evolved multiple times in different species using similar mechanisms. Brain-machine interfaces are now restoring speech in paralyzed individuals, and future advancements could enhance communication. By studying the neuroscience of speech and music, scientists are uncovering the deep evolutionary roots of human language and opening new possibilities for restoring lost communication abilities. That's a wrap on Dr. Erich Jarvis, the neuroscience of speech, language, and music. If you found this summary valuable, make sure to follow, subscribe, and join us for the next one. Stay tuned for more in-depth breakdowns of science-backed strategies to improve your mind and life.